We're in the beautiful and very distinctive campus of the Indian Institute of Management here in Bengaluru. And we're here to talk to the staff and students about summer placements. To begin with, Professor U. Dinesh Kumar, you are in charge of this entire placement process, and has it been different this year? What do you see as being different?
So the major difference is the response from the recruiters.
Okay.
It was massive compared to last few years. And we had many companies showing interest to recruit from us. And we had to send apology letters or emails to many companies because we couldn't accommodate them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Despite the pandemic, despite everything.
That's true.
Now,
That's true.
of course, IIM students don't usually have a problem finding placements. But even with that context, what do you think this means for the economy?
So it's a clear signal that economy is reviving, right? Not just based on what I'm observing within IIM Bangalore, but we also interact with other institutes.
Yeah.
And I got few reports that the institute which never had 100% placements, they were able to place all the students, right? So that is a clear indication that economy is reviving.
Fantastic. So it's not just the IIMs, it's not just the students here, but other places as well, seeing
That's true.
much better placement. But these are the students of IIM, and Shreyas, Ketaki and Yash joining us here. Shreyas, what sector will you be interning in?
So I'll be interning for a consulting company.
Okay.
And the reason why I chose consulting is because of the fact that you get to work across various sectors,
Yes.
and it's of like ever challenging work. And also the fact is that the consulting industry is on a growing path because of the pandemic.
Yes.
And you can see that many companies are going digital now, so they lack the technological and strategic skills which are required, and that is why consulting would come in handy here to help them out.
And is it really one of the fastest growing sectors now, the sector most in demand, could you say?
Yes, in a way, it's almost growing at a 30% pace. So I would say that, yeah, it's been growing at a very steady pace from the past few years.
And in response to the pandemic as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they have seen a pretty good growth because of how companies were like kind of stuck before the pandemic, and due to the pandemic they were facing financial crunches and everything. So they now want to get revived back into the business. So that is why consultants would help them manage to get them back on track.
Okay, and Ketaki, what sector are you heading into for your placement?
So I'll be interning with an investment banking company this summer.
Okay.
And definitely I think some of those issues, some of the things that Shreyas mentioned really translate for me as well. So it's very challenging, it's very dynamic. You get to learn a lot, you get to explore a lot of sectors because it's IB, right? So you kind of work with a big variety, big diversity of sectors. So that's definitely a big thing. And I personally enjoy like numerical and quantitative skills are really good. And you hone those at IMB, and then you get to translate those skills as well in your internship. So I'm really looking forward to
That's
it.
good. Nice to know somebody who likes their numbers. And how has the pandemic affected this sector? Do you see the fact that there's such good placement this year?
Yes.
Has that changed as well?
That's definitely the thing. So we didn't have as good of a finance portfolio last year, but this year we've seen a massive jump. We've seen a lot of really great IB companies coming to campus, a lot of really good banks coming to campus. So we've been able to invite them, we've been able to hold on, we've been able to develop really great relationships. So that's
And-
pretty cool.
Yash, where are you heading?
Yeah, so I'm interning at analytics company. So I choose analytics sector because this sector goes in complement with every other sector, be it operations, be it consulting, be it sales and marketing. And I like to play with numbers. So data-driven insights and giving companies and other firms strategies, how to market their strategies using data. So I chose this sector, and this sector is reviving. We can see a growth of 10% as compared to last year in analytics sector. And analytics sector markets around 30% of all sectors in markets.
So that is a huge growth. So the pandemic has not laid it low. There is still some growth.
Yeah.
There. There's still a good deal of growth there.
Yeah, so you can see like analytics was used during pandemic also by different companies.
Yes.
Even our COVID portal was using analytics to drive data insights. How many COVID patients are there in a particular state, in a particular hospital and all. So analytics sector is a sector which I think revived during pandemic also and is reviving now also.
That is fantastic, because we usually think that the pandemic would have hurt different sectors, but analytics being used during pandemic in real life applications. That's really fascinating. Now, in addition to the faculty, of course, we have students who are very much involved in the placement process. These are your juniors, are they? And You've been helping them get placed, Anusha and Charandeep. What was it all like? Was it very difficult to get people to come here, or was it easier than ever this year?
I think it was easier, I would say, this year, because apart from our regular recruiters, we've been getting calls from new recruiters. A lot of new recruiters had come into campus offering plethora of roles. So I think it had been easier this year. Even for our existing recruiters, they wanted to hire in way larger numbers as compared to last year. So I think we are seeing a revival there.
So even the regular people who came in wanted more students.
Yes, they wanted more students.
That's fantastic. And what did it involve? It must have been a lot of phone calls, a lot of work.
Yeah, so I mean, usually it involves a lot of cold calling, but this year we saw the opposite trend that companies were approaching us from their end directly, and we had to do less work in that way, I could say. So, and even for the regular recruiters, some of them opened up new roles and everyone came in with higher vacancies.
That's great. That is really interesting. So they were approaching you. It was not a question of, we'll call you. They did call you. They
Literally did call us. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Rupa, you're senior managing here for the Career Development Services. Did you see a big difference from previous years? And were you surprised, considering we're still in a pandemic?
Yes, I mean, it's really fantastic to see what happened this year and how we could do those record placements over 2 interview days, because earlier we used to go till 4 interview days, and we were having had a proper outreach strategy for reaching out to new companies, getting them to come to IIMB for the first time. And whereas I've already started getting calls even before we have entered into the phase of lateral placements and final placements, new companies who want to come and recruit our final year students and be part of the final placement. They've never come here, so they've already started reaching out, and this seems really a good way to get into the new phase of recruitments and have new companies come to IIMB. So yes, it's definitely a positive swing for all of us.